This is Chris with Chris and Rob Game Room. Take two. Take two.
Did you really just do that?
Yeah.
Are we live
we-
currently, and did you just go,
Yeah.
Come on, it's not a big deal. This is
Oh,
Dio
man.
Marmotto with Dio Marmotto's Game Room.
Yeah.
See, that's not even my channel. I'll say it like that. That's
I
ridiculous.
know, but still. This is Chris with Chris and Rob Game Room. I'm joined today by Stephen Cookus.
Oh my gosh, did you say Cookus?
How do you supposed? How am I supposed to say? How do you supposed
All
to
right,
say?
I'll sound it out for you. Ready? It's easy. It's easy. There's two parts to it. The first one is cook us some food. It's very simple.
Oh, okay,
right?
cook. Okay, now that I heard that analogy, I'm probably
Right?
still gonna mess it up.
That's okay. That's okay. Everybody messes it up. It's seriously the most messed up name that I've come across in a long time. I've gotten just a wide variety of funny and interesting mispronunciations.
I get people to mess
Cookus,
up mine all
Cocus,
the time.
Caucus. I mean, you name it. It's pretty awkward.
People add W's into my last name.
Well, nobody knows how to pronounce your name. I'm not even sure. Do you know how to pronounce your last name?
No.
Good. The way it should be. All right, so who won the roll-off, Chris?
I don't know. I'm trying to post stuff right now.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll talk through it. So we've got, looks like Michael's choosing to run his villain control team. It's got the collector on it. It's got spot ramp. It's got Mr. Freeze, which is an interesting piece of 5 cost that adds the stun token. Not sure I'm following exactly what that's going to achieve. It does do some really interesting things in that it forces your opponent to pay 2 to attack or defend, which is good for certain things. Against a villain versus villain control type thing, it's not going to do too much, and that looks like what the matchup is going to be, because Chris is also running villain control. Villain control is an interesting mirror match because you're running, everyone's running villains, and so it almost sort of boils down to 1, who can blank the other person's nobby, and 2, who can field enough nobbies, because your opponent's helping you with your win condition in the sense of you're both fielding villains and keeping villains in the field. So you're just pinging for days and hoping Madame Mask lands. And
you're also forgetting terrible dice rolls. That
is a certain that's certainly part of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Funnily enough, as well, both of these teams run Owlman as a sort of a secondary win condition, which is very interesting and might actually come into play in the mirror, because both guys look like they want to buy spot and ramp like crazy. Play the shriek game, and when everyone is sort of stalemated in blanking, they're both going to buy Owlman and then just push a bunch of physical damage, which would be very cool to see.
Yeah.
If they don't end up landing the shrieks and one of them stays up, or they both don't end up landing Madame Mask, which they both have, and one of them stays up, then we're going to have some fireworks. Otherwise, we may get some Owlman stuff.
Or some stalls. So it looks like it's the mirror match. Yeah, that's I like the mirror match, because if they shut down something for your collector, you still have room to grow from your opponent. You can it's a roll off now. Why are they doing another roll off?
Maybe they don't know they don't have to, because technically the person who lost the original roll off gets the pick, right?
Yeah.
You want to let them know?
Hey guys, whoever lost the original roll off picks the order in which they go.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would have chose to go first anyway.
It all worked out. Don't worry. All is right with the world.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start the timer.
All right, so this is going to be a really interesting match. I like watching the mirror of these two teams go at it, because it really plays sort of opposite of what the team is normally meant to do.
Yeah.
I like the Villainous Pact tech as well. Villainous Pact is a cool backup win condition that you could fit on, but may not actually work here because obviously everything's villains.
Yeah. So many villains.
Starting off looking like we're going to pick up Investigation turn 1. No interest in buying the spot turn 1, because it doesn't even matter. You can't really prep anything in turn 2, so Investigation, easy buy turn 1.
Yeah, you can always form your bag after that, though. Buying the spot and investigating fielding sidekick. Boom.
Definitely. So we've got 3 energy, 1 sidekick on Michael's side here. This seems like an easy field the sidekick and buy an investigate or buy something else. Looks like he's going to re-roll the sidekick, though, looking for 4 energy. He could technically buy a 3-drop and then going to get Madame Mask first. So
That
he wants to
is
guarantee the when fielded effect stuff done, gone, kaput,
I think
foregoing the ramp.
yeah, I think Chris has got to follow up with the similar thing to keep pace.
You think so?
Possibly.
So 2 sidekicks, a mask and a fist. I don't know. At this point, maybe. I think he'll have to get it soonish, but I don't think he needs to get it within the first bag roll.
Yeah. He could do it turn
Keeping-
3.
He could after the bag rolls.
Yeah.
So he's going to pick up spot. He's going full ramp, and I think that's smart because you're going to you land both of those together on turn 3 possibly. And it looks like that's what he's going to do. He's going to villainous pact here after he does that. That's why he's got his dice separated. Yep, there's the villainous pact. Feel the sidekick. So he's almost guaranteeing that he's going to get both the investigation and spot rolled on the same turn. So again, this is why you didn't have to necessarily buy a Madame Mask because he gets all of that ramp on turn 3 if he lands.
Yeah. So the ramp game, Chris is definitely ahead right now, but the control game, he's not that far behind either. So he's actually in a good spot.
So it's an interesting turn 1 by Madame Mask. I would have probably kept a sidekick just to get stuff out of your bag. So here he's going to have to keep a sidekick as we don't really have any energy fixers. Is that correct?
No, we don't.
Looks like no, Mjolnir is not on this team. So he's going to field the sidekick. Malekith Global, which is a good usage of it. Looks like he's going to pick up an investigation of his own. He's got a mask.
A villainous pack. Oh.
What, can he villainous pact you though? Because he has something in his prep area.
You did have something in your prep area, by the way.
Never mind. Past turn.
I hate being that way, but
and those 3 dice will go into his bag as well.
yeah,
Coming up. So he's gonna have a nice full bag, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. I mean, if he would, there's no way he could play it to where he could do that properly.
Not for the cheap, right?
Yeah.
All right, so he's rolling out, and we've got the ramp landing, but no the spot. And this is not the worst thing in the world if the spot misses, because you still get to draw on and roll on your ramp at the very least.
Yeah.
Oh, the spot comes up, so he is way far ahead now. This is going to be a huge turn. So pay to field, and then obviously use the investigate to draw and roll 4, which is really sick.
Do you? He's obviously going to do the investigation. If he gets a shield and something else, do you think a blob to do Madame Mask to try to force the issue?
Certainly, you could definitely do that. That would be a strong play. Madame Mask is already purchased, so if you can somehow get to that first, that'd be better. You can also just lay it down on Shriek, because you know Shriek is going to be down the pipeline eventually.
Yep. Oh, if he gets this other one, he could get Blob out.
He certainly could. Let's see.
Oh,
So, no luck on pulling it, but that's going to be okay because it's going to be sitting in the bag waiting for him. For energy, he cannot villainous pact, of course, but he's going to pick up that blob like you were mentioning. And the beauty of spot ramp, if it's not being hard countered by Tabaxi Rogue, is that it doesn't even matter how many dice are in your use pile because you're just going to cycle them.
Yeah.
It's all going around. It's like a giant carousel.
With that Malekith, the action, like if there's mutation in the field and you have that Malekith, oh my god, it gets so ridiculous if you have the spot ramp going.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So we've got the 1-4-4 side on Madame Mask here. So top side, going to be hard to remove her in general. So Blob pickup last turn won't land on Madame Mask. It will do nothing if it does, because she will already have been in the field.
Yeah, I still think it's a good buy, though. It's still a... man.
It's easy. You just paint Shriek or you paint Norman, right?
Yeah.
So I agree. Totally a good buy.
Because, I mean, even though he's going to not do his thing, he could still Owlman to push damage.
All right, so we have investigate for 2 bolts. Ended up landing 2 bolts. Fielding a sidekick, I would assume you would always field a sidekick here, and going to pay 1 to field Madame Mask. Leaves you with 2 energy. No, scratch that, 3 energy. I think he's thinking that he wants to Malekith Global Hence why he has the bolt and the sidekick sort of paired together.
Mhm.
Therefore, picking up another investigate, perhaps.
I think he's going to villainous pack first.
That would be a good call. Well, if he does, he doesn't get the ramp in the bag, and there's no way to do it now because he's used that investigate already.
Yeah. He's, I don't know.
So he looks like he's going to pay 2 for the spot. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So nothing in the bag currently. His
Mhm.
bag is empty, so this will fill with 9. Yeah, looks like he's going to. Technically, that bolt stays there. Yeah, it is staying in the reserve pool, floating. Gonna do nothing with that.
Yeah, he's just trying to
Sadly.
avoid turning his bag upside down, which it's going to be upside down next turn, but still.
They'll have 9 and a 1 in 9 chance to draw that investigate.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have a big old roll here, and the ramp lands. No blob, but really you're looking for that ramp more so than anything, especially when you've already got the setup, right?
Yeah.
So easy reroll. Looks like he's gonna scoop all 3 energy as well.
He can.
No luck for the blob, but he's got 5 energy with which to buy whatever he wants. This could be an Owlman turn if he wants it.
Or even a
Owlman
Madam
does
Mask.
5. And plus, you got to think he's going to roll 4 more dice here.
Mm-hmm.
And
How many?
the chances of he's got 1, 2, 3, 5 in the bag, 5 sidekicks, and 1 investigate. So he's looking to pull 4 dice from that. So 6. He's going to very likely pull investigate.
Yeah. If he doesn't, that's quite unfortunate.
Oh, there it is. On the final draw. But unfortunately, investigate only provides you 1 roll, and looks like it backfired a little bit on him. He's got 2 generic sitting here, staring at him instead of the nice little burst face. So cycle the bag.
Yeah.
Yep, he's reaching for his Owlman.
Not a bad
That's going to be
choice.
fun. So let's see what he's going to do from here. From here, he can Villainous Pact. There's 2 in the bag remaining, so Villainous Pact doesn't really do that much except give you 5 dice to roll next turn. It increases your chances of seeing one of those 2 investigations on your following draw by a little bit. Picking up a switch because his opponent has a little bit of ramp going, wants to try and shut that down, which is kind of cool.
That is the other difference in the team. Chris does have Scarlet Witch, whereas Michael doesn't have Scarlet Witch, so that's that could get.
It's a bit of one-sided action hate, isn't it?
Yeah.
This basically means that Shriek sort of, well, if he wants the ramp, it means that Shriek has to target Scarlet Witch. If he wants to not die, then the Shriek's going to have to be used in other places.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even have a Shriek yet, so he's a little bit behind the 8 ball. Let's see what he can make happen. He's successfully pulled both investigation and the spot and rolled both of them. So this is a really good catch-up turn. He doesn't even have to pay to field the spot, so he's got a solid roll. 2 fists. Probably want to re-roll those because you're not really doing anything with fists except buying Nobby. It looks like he's going to keep it, so maybe he's thinking buy Nobby this turn.
He's only got 1 investigation.
Yes, so he's going to draw 4 dice, 4 sidekicks, I believe, from this bag here.
With the spot ramp, it really shows through what it really can do when you get 2 investigations. Most people don't let you do that, though.
Well, luckily they're both running investigate,
Yeah.
so really they have full access to 2 to 3 investigates. 3 is excessive in my opinion, but
Yeah.
2 is just right. 2 almost guarantees a bag cycle every time. So he's got 6 here. Let's see what he does. And I believe 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's got 1 in the bag, and it's a sidekick remaining. So Villainous Pact only pulls the 1 from the bag. Why that would matter if there was nothing in the bag and you Villainous Pact, then you can Villainous Pact whatever you've purchased. Which is a really cool play.
Would you Owlman or Collector?
It looks like he's picking up an Owlman. I don't know. Collector's not a bad idea. Oh, that's what he went with. Collector, yeah. I kind of like the Collector idea because you can bring in a Nobby and start that whole process since your opponent has not purchased Madam Mask.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I can afford Collector when I'm playing my Collector team, I always just buy him. It's probably bad turns to do it, but if you got the energy, you got the energy.
I think that's a great point, and it's one that I'm trying to tell myself to do as well. It's on there for a reason. It's extremely flexible, and you'll never get the flexibility out of it if you don't purchase it.
See what's
Yeah.
gonna happen here is I'm gonna roll Blob on his level 3 and not be able to field both of these.
Oh, he's making the calls. Do you hear it? I love it when people make the calls. People need to make the calls. So tell me the line that loses you. Tell me the line that loses the game. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
Those are so much fun. All right, so we got 3 energy. Switch comes up, and looks like Blob's going to get re-rolled. Keeping a mask, shield, and a question mark is good.
Oh, you're the failure die.
Blob. Looks like we have another die that needs to be burned. That die needs to find the trash can pretty soon.
This tournament's finding a lot of dice that need to just burn.
Well, good. That's good. Get them out, right? All right, so switch is out. So now his investigate, which cycled really strongly last turn, is not going to hit nearly as frequently.
Yeah. You know, it'd be kind of interesting if he bought Collector here and then worked on Mr. Freezing one turn.
And yeah, definitely. Maybe that's why Mr. Freeze is on the team, because you're paying 3 to get it out there.
And then putting a stone token on.
And then putting stun tokens out, forcing your opponent to pay 2.
And
It seems less intuitive than just dropping, and there's the Madam Mask purchased by Chris, by the way.
Yeah.
It seems less intuitive than just buying Navi, especially since your opponent right now does not have anything to stop Navi damage and is actively contributing to their own demise by purchasing and fielding villains. That being said, that would be a pretty cool play.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what goes on here. We've got Collector and another Investigate. Now that Investigate's not going to get to re-roll a second time if it comes up generic.
Oh,
It comes up action, so it's forced to re-roll.
he has a 50-50 shot. It's better than usual.
Most people just land the generic and go about their business, right?
have to re-roll your action.
Okay. Thank goodness they're calling
Good
it.
catch.
Oh
the
my
action
God, he's
does
so
complete The 25%er. Unfortunately, the collector does not work. The collector does not happen. So the collector's going to have to cycle. But luckily, he gets to cycle the rest of his bag right here. So draw 4, roll him.
I wouldn't even buy another investigation because that's such a lucky die right there.
So you buy another investigation here. What's the benefits? You have more chances of doing what he just did. Basically, that's it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has. If it comes up on energy, you're able to buy a 5 cost, and Owlman's not a bad purchase. I think he didn't buy that yet.
No, he's not purchased Owlman yet.
Yeah.
He's got 8 here. Bag empty. So any purchase that he purchases
Is
which
going
is a
in the bag.
weird sentence. He can just villainous pact over into the prep area. Look like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Let's see if he chooses to take the next step, villainous pact as well.
Yep.
Picking up another spot. Yep, and that's what he's going to do. He's actually going to pull both of them into the bag, which is a great play. Picking up a second spot is good for sort of charging up that Norman Osborn.
Mm-hmm.
More villains means more damage.
Fighting past turn.
And it also, I mean, the spot now is on a low side, and it'd be kind of good to cycle in another one that has better defense.
Keeping 2 out there means that if your opponent somehow had some way of removing one of them,
Mm-hmm.
you still have him active as a second copy.
Yeah.
Redundancy.
That's the way I like it.
All right, let's see what we got. We've got 2 generic on Chris's side. We've got a fist, a shield, and another fist. Is that right?
Yep. That's what
I've
I'm saying.
gone a little or is that double shield? Looks like double shield.
Yeah,
I've
it's
gone a
double
little
shield.
pixelated.
Yeah, it is a bit pixelated.
He's gonna scoop everything. Didn't like the fist, double shield. Definitely don't like the 2 generic.
I still
Hey,
buy
this is
Normans.
markedly better.
Yeah, I still buy Normans in this case just to get bodies in the field, and it's one of your cheapest characters.
You also have to think, though, if you buy Normans, that's more villains that are going out in the field and staying there. Because if you roll
Yeah.
him, you're not going to not field him. I mean, if you don't field him, then you avoid getting,
Yeah.
dropped that your opponent's Navi on your own head. So
Oh.
it looks like he does roll up Madam Mask. The 2 generic side comes up on Investigate, so no bag cycle.
That
And,
Owlman,
no Owlman, though.
that's the one that hurts.
It does, but luckily for him, there's really no downside to cycling the bag next turn. Like it's gonna happen. It's very likely to happen, especially if you field a sidekick, get it out of the way.
Yeah, I think Chris is solidly in the lead right now.
Based on board presence and the control pieces that are out, I think it's going to be a little tough for Michael to climb back into this game.
Yeah, the board presence with Switch just
it definitely makes it tough for Michael. Looks like he's going the spot as well. This is kind of fun. So if he villainous pacts here, he needs to put the spot into a separate zone for the used pile, since he has purchased that one. Actually, it doesn't even matter. He's got stuff in the bag. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, he had 3 in the bag. So
how do you feel about the outsider being purchased, like Malekith Global Outsider?
I don't see it doing much.
You're able to put a 2/2, a level 2 one.
You put a dude out, right?
Yeah, level 2 villain. But if
but it's from your bag, right?
Yeah,
and it has to be drawn.
Yeah.
So
and if you draw a pawn, you get to prep a die.
For 4 though.
It's for 3.
For net 3.
Yeah, net 3.
I don't know. That doesn't seem as powerful as buying something like a Nabi or buying Shriek and then shrieking their Madam Mask.
Yeah.
For 3, you know?
Yeah.
So Owlman comes up for Michael. And this could be a nice little opening if he can get some more villains in the field in the next few turns. Chris pointing out that he cannot re-roll the action because it switches out, which is why I think we both think that he's got a little bit more of a foothold in this game.
Yeah. Even though Michael's got the Owlman out, it's really hard for him to ramp up to something else right now.
It's just going to be slow, you know?
Yeah.
2 villains in the field. No purchase on Malekith, which means those sidekicks are not yet villains. And it's probably good that he has not purchased that Malekith because fielding sidekicks just makes it way easier for Chris to buy up some Nobbies and play the Shriek game and then just get more damage through because of the villain affiliation being on the sidekicks.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the Shriek game's out of play here because can't when fielded.
It is currently, yeah, isn't it? But we did just have a Shriek buy on. Shriek Sonic Beam was just purchased by Michael, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets the when fielded stuff through if Madam Mask is currently out.
Yeah, I think both of these guys are missing Magic Missile to help them out a little bit.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, the stuff on these teams are too low level that you can't put it on there.
So, you know, we've been saying that Chris is in the lead, but thinking about the fact that, you know, Chris can't go Nabi anymore because obviously both wind-fielded effects are shut down. The fact that Owlman is out for Michael might mean that he has a bit of an edge just because he's got, you know, villain synergy.
Yeah, and if he does buy Malekith, he's super far ahead.
Yeah, that's certainly possible. So he's going to probably pay to field everything, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe he's not going to do that. He's not going to field either character, even though he has his own Owlman. That's interesting. So those still, you know, those are villains that can be blockers and can be attackers with your own Owlman. And you have a lead on board, so choosing instead of ramp.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he's banking on, you know, getting somehow a removal on Madam Mask so that he can get some Nobbies out. It's kind of strange. Or get your own control out.
And yeah, and I mean, Michael wasn't afraid to buy his collector as soon as he did, or when he did, and
well, I'm not quite sure what the collector is going to bring to the table outside of, like we talked about earlier, a Mr. Freeze or a second Owlman for the win attacks portion. Bringing in Malekith isn't a bad idea. You know, you're paying 2 to bring in something that gives your sidekicks +1/+1 and villains, but the villain right here doesn't really actually matter because Nabi's never going to trigger.
Yeah. So he can. Oh man.
Collector comes up on the 2 mask side this time instead of the 1 mask. So again, he has 5 energy. Maybe he just buys another collector.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
he's going to pick up his own Malekith, hard buy Malekith, and that's a strong play too, because you have the two sidekicks in the field, and you have an advantage in respect. Unfortunately, it's going to take you forever to ramp to that unless you get a really lucky roll coming up, because you're loading your bag up with 9.
yeah, and you're just getting your investigations on energy unless you get lucky.
Yep. It's gonna be a slog for him. Owlman comes up, and we have ramp, and we have another villain. Did he just scoop all of that?
Yeah. Wow.
Did he have a sidekick the first time?
Uh,
I can't remember if he has a sidekick the first time. Either way, he's gonna have what he needs to field here. Oh, he drew, and that's the first roll. Got it. Okay, and there's a sidekick, and there's 1 energy, and he's gonna investigate for 4 anyway. I understand now. I switched a little too late, so he's gonna draw and roll here. Here we go.
And he
1,
has
2, and another investigate. So he's gonna hopefully chain investigates. That's what he's hoping for. Because if the other investigate rolls up, then he's gonna churn through his bag. And see, this is a moment where investigate could shine or really hurt him.
I think even if it comes, oh my gosh.
Hey, good. It's a mixed bag. So Blob doesn't come up. Shriek does come up, which is another villain. He's got energy enough to field, it looks like, and he's going to be able to investigate for another 4 dice.
What else does he have here? Oh, he just has
sidekicks.
Oh, and it's spot.
And,
Oh,
spot.
I didn't see the 3rd spot purchase.
He did it, I think, last turn. Oh my goodness! Well, the sidekicks are okay. For a moment there, I forgot he's not the one with if it was Uncommon Malekith, that would have been ridiculous game. And he does have enough to pay for it because he needs 3. So he will be able to pay 3. It doesn't matter how he pays. Because you're not using the shields for anything.
That's so ridiculous right there. That's such a wall.
Shove it all in there. Shove it all in there. So now he's probably regretting the fact that he doesn't have Uncommon Malekith on the team, because that would be all of those sidekicks would be 3/3s when attacking.
Yeah,
awesome.
And he probably still would be ramping this way without.
Actually, they'd be 4/4s. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Because you combine Owlman's +1 attack, the +1/+1 from while active, and the +1/+1 from when attacking, and the +1/+1 from Malekith. If you could get both of those out in the field, that's a bunch of 4/4s. That's cool.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
He's got a ton of damage. Michael has 5 in the field.
We're gonna do it anyway. See what happens.
Oh my gosh, he's full pushing with everything. Oh, okay. So this is good for Michael, because it's letting he can just take some of this damage. He can let Switch go through. He can let Metamask go through.
Definitely let Metamask go through.
Chump block most of this, or chump block as much of this as you can. And go to like half health or something.
Yeah, I mean, as long as it's not 5 or lower. Yeah.
I'll block you 2 5s.
Wait a minute. Is he blocking the Switch? Oh my goodness. He blocked the Switch. Okay,
And he blocked the Metamask.
This is interesting. Okay, so looking at this, he's letting some 4 damage go through. No, he's choosing to block a couple of 4/4s as well. Because, in a perfect world, you let... Well, no, you can't let all 3 of the spots go through as well.
I mean, beyond anything, you just let Switch and Metamask go through. That's what I would think.
Yes, 100%. The Shriek does nothing for you. You can chump block it, keep it in the field, because then it can't field off that.
Mm-hmm.
You're right at 25 minutes now. All right. I'm gonna let it off there.
Just attacks with everything. Says, yeah, we're at 25 minutes right now.
Okay, so he lets the rest go through.
How much damage was that?
Yeah, I really screwed up with what I was purchasing, because for some reason, when I have Metamask, I always remember. But when my opponent has Metamask, I can't remember.
So those are unblocked. Wait, did he concede?
They're not going to trigger.
I'm confused.
What just happened?
He took the 16 damage. 4 4s and 4 sidekicks.
But did he? Was that 20 damage? Was he down to no life?
Well, yeah, he took 20 damage.
Oh.
He
How?
took a total of 20 damage. Is that okay? So there must have been a total of 20 damage that we just count, even though those sidekicks went through. So there was a 5, obviously on.
Yeah, basically, Chris, he just let it through
Mm.
because we were at turns, and I had he blocked my 2 highest, so I had 2 5s. He blocked. He blocked one of my 2 spots, and then I had 4 4 4 3, and then 4 sidekicks that he let through. So 21 damage.
Oh wow.
So he chose not to block the remaining, top 3 or whatever with his 5 total.
Right, he just let the damage through.
Gotcha. All right, on to game 2.
Yep. Switch these teams out real quick.
All right, so I guess he just waved the flag, seeing that he wasn't going to be able to do a counter swing on the next damage, the next turn. That's very interesting. I don't know if that's necessarily the way you play it. I think you can always, find a way, especially when your opponent full swings.
Full swings with Madame Mask and Scarlet Witch. You definitely have a chance. I mean, it's his game.
Well, thinking through it, let's see. So you always let the 4 sidekicks through. You let Switch and Madame Mask. That's 10. So you're at 14.
Mm-hmm.
You let one of the spots through, and that would be you're at 2 damage left.
Oh wow.
Because there were 4 attacks. 2 health left, and then that still leaves him 2 spots and the
sidekicks
and the Malekith. No, sorry, the Owlman. So that's 3 blockers, and you're assuming that everything that you blocked with probably gets KO'd because you just don't have the defense there.
Yeah.
So you would need a crazy turn. But he had Malekith. He had the ability. Well, he didn't really have the ability to fix sidekicks, but he had Malekith. There was certainly a possibility there.
I think
It
he
would
had
have been
Malekith coming out next term.
Astronomically low chance, but it was there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting there.
I don't know. He was in a bad spot.
Yeah, certainly. But that being said, we'll move on to match number 2, or round number 2, I should say, which features Boom Boom Yanti for Michael. Michael's playing Boom Boom Yanti with a nice little addition of the 4-cost Shriek that blanks when fielded.
Mm-hmm.
So the moment it plops down, blanks. It's interesting that he's choosing to switch because he could have kept his control team in play and in place.
Yeah, because with this
might have been good with Boom Boom and against Boom Boom and Morph.
Yeah, I mean,
Boom Boom and Morph does really get shut down if you just buy the first 2 control pieces and just lock down like Boom Boom or Morph,
Yeah, it's just he has the 4-cost Shriek.
And that's not going to...
Yeah.
It's a when-fielded effect, which is only affecting your turn. So this is going to be an interesting matchup. I think it's going to be kind of tough with the current setup for both players because neither of them can really mitigate what the other person is doing.
Yeah, I mean
it's really just a race.
The one thing that that Michael has going for him is the Basilisk to just do deadly on anything that he attacks or blocks.
And he has a 4-cost too, which is easy to get to, which is nice.
I played against that round 1, and it was pretty tough.
Michael does have a tune though, so I would give him the edge because a tune can be used in a controlling manner.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going to pick up Power Bolt first, so rush it is. See if they can rush each other down.
I wonder if Chris is going to go for his bishop as quickly as possible because he kind of has to.
I think it's a real possibility. Well, but you get a couple of tune Power Bolts, and the Power Bolt doesn't go through, but a tune could possibly ping off bishop if he's on a low enough side. So there's some way to kind of get there.
Yeah.
I agree, though. You get the ramp if you can, which there's not really ramp to speak of, it looks like.
A res, and he could get
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Res is all it takes.
We will buy a Mimic.
So, oh, he's got Mimic Ramp. That's right. This
Yeah.
is the team with Mimic Ramp. So he's set for ramp. He can get to Bishop fairly easily.
Yeah.
So 1 Power Bolt purchase, 1 Field Sidekick and Mimic purchase. So he's probably going to res here on turn 2, Chris, and
Yeah.
see what Michael chooses to do. Keeping the question mark.
Oh.
And ends up with what? A sidekick? 1 sidekick? 2 sidekicks?
He could field 3 sidekicks and to make another one.
He could field 2 sidekicks. He can make 4 sidekicks. That would be interesting. It wouldn't be very good, but it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
He could have 4 sidekicks on his opponent's turn by the end of his opponent's turn. Oh, he does have energy fixer. You're right. He's got the Mjolnir energy fix. So he does have 3 energy here if he wants something.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to.
It's just man, that
3 for a switch seems not bad. But he's going to Malekith here and pick up another Power Bolt and then probably res.
Yeah.
Which seems good. You've prepped both of those Power Bolts before any mitigation whatsoever comes down on the field. And he's not going to have to worry about, he's not going to do it.
Oh, wow. Well,
that's okay. He's not going to have to worry about switch on this team because he faced it on the last team. And luckily for him, you can't put it on both because that's cheating. And there's the Bishop purchase. So we have Bishop in play. He's fixed his field of sidekick and went hard for that Bishop, which is interesting because, well, actually it's okay because Michael chose not to fix his bag with those 2 Power Bolts.
Yeah.
If he would have fixed his bag with 2 Power Bolts, it wouldn't have made sense to purchase Bishop and fill your bag up really heavily because he's just going to see that before you get Bishop out.
Yeah. Bold call on the cheating if you play the card on the same teams.
You can try. It just won't end well for you.
The watchful eye of the judges will catch you if we watch.
All right, so we got a Power Bolt for 2, obviously. We're going to have a sidekick get fielded. That sidekick can also just be a bolt if he wants it.
He could also Malekith Global the sidekick to buy another one.
Yeah, definitely. Buy the 3rd Power Bolt. It looks like Chris doesn't really care that he's buying up these Power Bolts. He's not trying to counter buy. It looks like he's fixing and paying 4. Or perhaps pay for 2 and then 2.
Yeah.
Gotta get a Yanti and a Boom Boom there.
Not a bad
deal 2 to
choice.
his opponent. So Chris moves to 18. If you're keeping score at home, everyone's got their little calculators out. That would be awesome.
It kind of reminds me of like if you're keeping box score at home when you're watching a baseball game. How they say
you're
that?
Just checking along.
Yeah. Who does that anyways?
Nice full bag. Not me, but then again, I don't watch baseball on TV.
Yeah.
That's much more of a sit-down sport. But I digress.
It's a sleeping game. You sleep through watching it.
Oh my gosh! All right, so we've got 2 sidekicks, which is a little bit bad, just because you don't get the double energy fix. You can only fix 1 of them. But he's just going to pick up a Boom Boom off that.
There's 2 energy fixers. Billy Clubb.
We have Mjolnir. Oh, he is. Yeah, he's running Billy Clubb, isn't he? Down there in the corner, you can just kind of make it out. So he could double fix those if he wanted to.
Yeah, I think he's going to wait till he gets Mimic out since it's in the bag.
Yep. Let's see what we got. Got double mask. We've got a 2 generic on the 2nd Power Bolt that's come through the bag, and then a shield. So a 5 total energy. I'd like to see a bag fix. Would be really, really strong because looking at it, he's got 1 sidekick in the bag, so he can't quite do it unless he. No, he can't do it. He can't bag fix, sadly.
He could do it semi by Professor Xing.
Well, you can't Professor X out of the bag. So what your goal is to get the dice that are in your used currently into the bag, right?
Yeah, but he can thin out his bag a little bit more by Professor Xing.
He can make it a little cleaner, certainly. Yeah. It ends up just kind of keeping that die that would go into the used pile out of it.
Yeah.
No shield anymore, which is kind of sad. So you can't res. He's got the ability to fix that sidekick, and it looks like he is going to do that. No, he's going to field it and pick up a Shriek. This is the 4-cost Shriek that is a when fielded effect is going to wipe the text. of all cards on your opponent's
Prismatic Spray.
side. Prismatic Spray with legs, which is good because here we have both Bishop and what is that other guy? Bishop and Mimic. There it is. Bishop and Mimic. Neither of them roll, of course. And the danger too is Bishop a 1 on every side? I think he's a 1 fielding cost on everything, right? Unless he's got a 2 fielding side.
He's got a 2 fielding. Yeah, he's a 2 fielding side on his top side.
Okay, so then he's gonna run into issues if that comes up on that top side.
If Mimic comes up,
so Mimic comes up, he's gonna be able to pay to field. Fields for free. He's landed on the one side, level 1 side,
and he could technically prep a little bit here too.
Yes, he can. He can do exactly 1 time, which is strong, and he can res as well. I think that's probably the right play, just straight up.
Yeah, thin out the bag.
Prep 2 dice, get your ramp going, try to get ahead. Your opponent doesn't have a way to long-term deal with that piece, so you're going to be able to get some value out of it for a long time.
Oh, he can double. He can now double
once
Professor.
On his turn. He can do it once on his turn and once on his opponent's. So it's going to pull that sidekick out, and that will ramp him 2.
Oh, that's really good.
So here's an interesting play. He can purchase and then res the 3 that are in the bag, and then also on the his opponent's turn do the Professor X as well.
Yeah,
which will just do massive things. Now he's going to pay 4, choosing not to prep 2 more dice.
Well,
instead grabbing that, which is fine. He's got 7 that are going to go in the bag, and he's got 3 characters that possibly come out, have a chance of coming out. So
I think seeing his opponent, the bag that he has upside down, it's really not that bad for him.
Yeah, buying Powerbolt is turning out to be pretty slow when you don't have Boom Boom, right?
Yeah.
So 2 generic, and one of them comes up as the action face. But again, we've not seen Boom Boom just yet. And so even if that comes up as the the burst face, it's still just going to deal 2 damage and not 4, which is what makes that team so strong. 2 generic again.
Yeah. I on this team, I almost feel like Yanti and Boom Boom have to be turn 1 by, turn 2 by.
They certainly could be, yeah. Or a Yanti. I don't really know. Based on the team that he has currently, I don't think there's a stronger start.
Yeah.
Because you're going to cycle. If you play your bag right, you can cycle into both of those being out and active fairly quickly, and then just start getting actions from there.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I played
for another 2, drop him to 16 here.
Which I think Chris is fine with that. He's totally fine with that.
Well, he's got a Mimic. He's out and giving him ramp. He's got some direct damage blocking that could come out if he pulls a nice little yellow dive Bishop. Ooh. And he's got Morph, which is going to do some crazy damage by itself.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe getting out that the Mimic to kill his ramp would have been decent. But I mean,
what do you mean getting out the Mimic to kill his ramp?
Using the Powerbolt on Mimic to kill the ramp.
Yes, definitely. That's certainly a possibility. So you pop it and then force it to reroll. If it doesn't come up, then you don't get to field that sidekick and ramp 2, which is what is going to end up happening here in a moment.
Yeah. Oh.
Morph comes up as well, and another sidekick. So his bag is going to be empty by his turn, which is awesome. Doesn't even have to pay to field Morph. This is going very, very.
This is a sick turn right here.
It's about to be, yes.
And he's gonna have that sidekick killed. Oh wow.
So he's gonna field the Morph clearly, and he'll do the Morph and Shockwave combo. Shockwave deals damage based on how many dice your opponent has in the field zone, which is only 1. It's not going to do a ton. He's going to ping out one of his sidekicks, Malekith Global, pick up his opponent's Powerbolt, which is strong.
His Mimic and his sidekick are going to be knocked out.
What do you mean?
When he does Shockwave, it's going to kill his other things. Because it
deal 1 to everything?
It knocks out level 1 characters, and that Mimic is a level 1.
Yes.
Good call.
And I will attack with Morph.
Mm-hmm.
Which will KO
All that.
everything except for Morph.
Yep.
And he has,
He'll take 3 damage.
and he's pulling it back.
And then I'm gonna Kate Bishop to bring Morph back into the field.
Indeed. So it's a little interesting because of the
Morph is
range.
KO'd also, sir.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. He's level 1.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of anti-synergy in the sense that you're killing your own ramp, but you're rolling a bunch of stuff next turn.
Yeah, that's all the
Your
ramp you
board's-
need right there.
Your board's wide open.
Yeah.
Well, if you miss, then you have a full bag and you're back to square one, giving your opponent a huge chance to climb back in the game.
Use this fist to protect Morph. That's what I did wrong.
So he was looking to use a fist global.
Yeah. I mean,
And here's Boom Boom, and we also have, looks like he Shriek as well. Shriek won't do as much because your opponent's board is totally open.
yeah.
Morph comes up, or excuse me, Boom Boom comes up, unlike in some of the spoiler alert games that Ryan played earlier.
Man.
So it doesn't have to worry about Boom Boom missing. Boom Boom will come out. You'll feel the sidekick. I would imagine you'd feel the sidekick and feel the Shriek. Just kind of keep the Shriek out there because it's the Shriek's attacks or when fielded.
It's when fielded. It's almost better to just use the global Malekith global to keep pulling her back.
Yeah, you could cycle it that way.
Because then if he gets Bishop out there, you're fine. You're still doing damage.
Mm-hmm. She is the one fielded, so easy to cycle. And you don't have to necessarily do it now, especially with his board being what it is.
Well,
So
never
it looks
mind.
like he's going to take a moment to take a moment to pick up another Yanti.
Not a bad choice.
So it looks like he has a 1-2 Boom Boom and a 2-3
Yeah.
Shriek. All right, so only 4 are going to go in the bag. He rolls everything he owns.
Is that a
which is
2-2
fun.
boom boom or is that a 1-2 boom boom?
It sounded like he said it was level 1. So here he rolls his 1-2 Boom Boom. He rolls a Morph. He rolls every character he owns.
Oh my
And
god.
lands all of them on character face, plus the Power Bolt that he bought from Michael's team, and 3 sidekicks.
It's double burst too. Holy crap.
Now the question is Bishop a level 1 character? Because again, he's going to wipe his own board if he attacks with Morph.
He's a 6.
Is it 136? Is that what that says? 136?
Yeah, I think he's the 136.
And that is the level 2? I believe
Yeah.
because the 135 is level 1, right?
And Mimic is a level 2.
Oh, you can see that. Yeah, you're right. I can see that. A 1/1/1, right?
Yeah.
So it
So
won't wipe. It'll wipe just his Boom Boom and his Morph,
yeah.
and those 3 sidekicks.
Yeah. Wow.
Fielding the Mimic so that he can buy something, I guess, here, and then ramp it.
What he should do right here is probably play Shockwave first, then field.
All right, say that all again because I think you cut out.
Oh, play Shockwave before he plays any of his characters.
That's not a Shockwave. That's a Power Bolt.
Oh my! I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot.
No, you're not an idiot. Shockwave is the action that's going to trigger when he attacks with Morph.
Why would he buy a 5 cost? That was bad on my part.
All right, so he's fielding everything, and then he's going to field these sidekicks after he purchases. But I don't think he has anything in bag. So yeah.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
Fielding the Boom Boom or the Mimic that way. I wonder. Oh no, two bloggers of the field. You probably can't get there with with the damage that you have on board.
He's at 17 right now.
If he, let's see, if he would have fielded the Mimic and copied the stats of the Bishop, then he could have had +2 attack. But
Yeah.
that still doesn't get him there, especially because when you attack with Morph, you just kill half your stuff.
Yeah.
We'll just do 2 to you with Power Bolts.
So he's dealing 2 with Power Bolt, and let's see how he deals.
And a Boom Boom. Yeah.
Does he go 2 as well, or does he try to KO opponent's Boom Boom?
And then
Looks like he dealt it all to him.
I will attack with
Tough decision.
Well, no, I can't attack you. Shield. Protect morph from his own ability. Almost forgot to do that this time.
Just bang a shield.
Pass you priority.
Because his boom boom's going away, but
Solid plays.
doing the 4
Yes,
damage.
he's gonna wipe 3 sidekicks and a boom boom.
So that'll KO all the level 1s, except for morph.
And he moved his morph. Oh, he's in the attack zone. You just can't see him. Got it.
And you'll take 3 more.
Doesn't that Mimic's on his level 2? He should stay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about
You're at 17, I
defense.
get 4 with the power bolt.
Is he on his level 2?
Yeah,
Is that mimic currently on level 1 or level 2?
He is on level 1, but I used the Shockwave Global to protect him from
The mimic. The mimic that's in the KO.
Oh, the Mimic is on level 1. He's on his burst.
Ah, we can't see that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I could have swore that it said 1 to
So
field.
that's going to KO him as well. So, but hopefully he just does what he did last time and rolls character.
Back into the field.
That's the hope, right?
Yeah. I can't believe he got all that. That's so much damage. That's so ridiculous. The fact that he's weaving Morph in there and KOing his Boom Boom and still getting damage in there with Boom Boom every single turn.
All right, so let's see what we've got from Michael as a counterplay. He's got Boom Boom, he's got Shriek, he's got 1 Yanti, but no action to roll alongside it. So he's going to have to play some catch up. He's not that far back in health total and life total because every time Morph attacks, it's only doing 3.
Yeah.
And so he's just taken a couple of points of damage in general. But you don't have very much life in Dice Masters, do you?
No, not at all.
I think you have at least 11 life.
I've heard that before.
At least. I mean, you might be able to go over 20, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Comes up with a Shriek, and looks like he hits the top side Yanti, the 3/3 side.
That's a Boom Boom. Yanti
Or
did
Boom
not
Boom,
roll.
4/2. Yes, 4/2. You're right. I can see that. There it is.
Field Shriek.
Fielded for free. Didn't come up with a Yanti. That's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. What is not good is that he paid the shield to field the Boom Boom instead of paying any of those other energy because now he can't resurrect. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, he's still stuck with the no, yeah, that's exact empty bag. So yeah, he could have resurrected.
I'm not going to purchase anything with it. Fair enough.
So he's KOing Shriek to cycle,
Mjolnir 2 left.
and he's gonna pick up Mjolnir for 1.
Down, purchase Mjolnir.
But that's gonna be a really, really heavy bag.
That's reach in and pray you get it.
Well, with that kind of a bag, it certainly is, isn't it? Because you're looking at what, 4, 8, 12, 14 dice going in. Because I think his bag is empty currently.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 14 chance. That's
But you get to draw 4 times.
true.
So it's a little stranger. It's like a 1 in 14 plus a 1 in 13 plus
Yeah.
a 1 in 12. I'm not going to do that math. Plus a 1 in.
I think it's about a
Okay, I'll do the math. Fine. I'll do the math.
17 to 20% chance of drawing it.
Here's the math. Let's do it.
Where's
While
my
Chris-
whiteboard?
Commentate on Chris rolls really quick.
All right, let's see if he gets everything to come up again. I think if he gets everything again, oh, he just didn't get Boom Boom. So I think that Mimic. I wish I could read Mimic. It's just the lighting on him is just a little bit odd.
It is tough. It is tough, right?
Yeah. All right. Oh, didn't get
Ah,
Boom Boom, but I still think
doesn't
he does a lot of damage here.
Well, he does 3, right?
Yeah.
And what do we have Michael at what? He's done 3 damage twice, so he's at 14.
3 damage twice and a Boom Boom.
Ah, that's right. And he dealt it to the face, so he's at 12.
Yeah.
So he'll do another 3, dropping him to 9. No sidekick to field Mimic on, which is extra gross. And he can't pull one because there's nothing in used.
Yeah.
No sidekick in used. So this is an awkward turn, especially when you're sitting with this much energy.
Yeah. I almost feel like you should just name Bishop.
Get crazy, name Bishop, and try to push physical damage.
Yeah.
Buying a second morph seems good. but just missing all this ramp. This is why this combo is a little bit more than just Boom Boom Yanti.
Yeah.
It's certainly paid off for him, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's because of Morph. I think he's just piloted rather well.
Yeah.
Keeping things pretty low and cycling fairly well.
Yeah,
with the Mimic ramp.
He's definitely led he's led his bag to where he needs to go. It's just now the bag is not going to be where he wants it to be, but that's not a bad thing. He's definitely ahead.
Well, it is 16-12 if we're talking life totals.
Yeah. It's about to be 9 to
It's about to be 9 to 16.
Yeah.
With a Boom Boom in the field and a Shriek that's out that will possibly roll, but a huge bag for your opponent too. So if any time would be good for you to fill up your bag, it would be the time that your opponent has an equally full bag.
So he attacked with Mimic named as Bishop, and he attacked with... Yeah, oh no.
So I will kick Bishop him back, and then Mimic will deal you 3.
Yep.
Copy Bishop's 3 attack.
Yep.
And I will pass turn to you.
It's getting really low now.
Yeah, I think in that you don't ever want to block. I'm not gonna say you never want to block Morph, but I think just letting him go through is the key. He was gonna pull him back anyways because he's got to keep him. The only thing you can do is avoid 3 damage that
you always block copied Bishop, whatever his name is, Mimic in that situation, I think.
Yeah, unless he's a sidekick.
Because you'd be glad for Morph to leave the field and have to go through that bag, right?
Yeah.
All right, so Shriek comes out, but Shriek's not going to play a huge deal. Wow, we've got is that Yanti and Mjolnir, or is that just...
That's Mjolnir and Yanti.
So here's the problem with Mjolnir. Mjolnir is not as good of a clear as you would wish because it has to leave everything at... Yeah, there's Mjolnir, comes up. Has to leave everything at 1 health.
He has a path to take out Bishop. No, he doesn't. Never mind.
So he's going to field and blank Bishop, I would imagine. Blank everything, really. He's going to field Yanti and then just deal a bunch of that damage. And
KO Morph.
He can deal 1 to Boom Boom, 2 to either of his own dice, 3 to... Well, nothing. So he can't quite get there.
Yeah, but he can do...
damage is going to do 1.
Yeah. He could do
a max. Go ahead.
He could do 1 damage to one of his characters and knock out Morph to try to hope Morph doesn't come back. That is one thing he can do.
He certainly can. Your goal, I think, would be to try and figure out a way to get rid of
Mimic.
Bishop. It's just too
Bishop.
tough.
Yeah.
It's just so tough. His toughness is crazy.
He
does have unblockable damage here, so nothing to scoff at. Get, I think, 2 or 3 through.
And he is blanked with the fielding.
And the Boom Boom deals 2 from the usage of Mjolnir.
Mm-hmm. No, Boom Boom's basic actions.
That's correct. Did they spin down for that?
I can't tell. No, it's just 1 that he did.
See how he deals it.
Yeah.
1 to Boom Boom, 2 to Morph. Chooses to remove Morph.
Yeah.
Yep.
Deals the 1 attune, I think is what they were doing earlier.
Only drawback to that card is that it doesn't work quite as well as Cone of Cold.
Exactly. He's 100% right. You want to be able to remove 1, don't you?
Yeah.
Upcoming stuff with the kind of bouncing back and forth damage and preventing damage kind of thing.
So let's see what we get pull-wise from Chris here. Oh, he's going to finish by pushing. So one of them's unblockable. He's going to push with Shriek.
I'll take all of it.
Yep.
I'll take you to 9 and go ahead and finish it off.
Drops it to 9.
Yeah. He gladly takes that 9 because that Shriek can't come up again and just... If he has a massive turn...
That bag is so massive, you're not seeing any of those dice still the remainder of the game. We're assuming that someone's going to die in 2 turns, and you've got more than 2 turns worth of dice in your bag.
Yeah, we're at time already, so...
Mm-hmm. All right, so here we have Morph, Boom Boom, and Power Bolt, and that's just 1 billion damage.
Yeah, that's a game.
Yeah, right there. And that's just gonna push him. All you gotta do is field and then push.
I think that was 2 well played games. It didn't go that way for Michael, but I mean, that's how it goes.
Chris is a very crisp player. I think he's got a good control over both of these teams for the most part.
Yeah, he's definitely played them and knows how to pilot them. That's
Can't believe I rolled that well. Usually I draw
Gonna
really
jump in
well,
there.
but roll terribly.
Chris talking about how he either draws or rolls well, and the other one does the other one
Well, I'll
poorly.
go ahead and
But here's the great thing about this game is you can really
get you
mitigate a
reported
lot
up
of
and
things
stuff
that
like
you
that.
don't do well by playing well. I think this game opens you has a lot of opening for you know, like playing well. Player skill can really separate you.
Oh, he already left.
From,
Okay. Yeah, and also practice.
Yeah. Indeed.
We only played 2 matches. The first one went pretty well too. Initially, it started off with.
I believe I'm going to end the stream here. So, all
Thanks
right.
for watching, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe to Chris and Rob Game Room, and DR Marmada Steven was really good on commenting tonight. So everyone say thank you to him in the chat.
All right, you guys have a good one.